Merdeka! 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 Merdeka!
Malaysia, a land of diversity, culture and history, a nation that gained its independence on August 31st, 1957, marking the end of British colonial rule over the Malay Peninsula. But the journey to freedom was not forged through conflict. It was a story of negotiation, unity and collaboration among Malays, Chinese and Indians. Under British rule, Malaya thrived economically but faced ethnic divisions. After World War II and Japanese occupation, the British proposed the Malayan Union in 1946, which faced strong opposition. It was replaced by the Federation of Malaya in 1948, restoring Malay rulers' authority. On 16 September 1963, Malaysia was formed, including Sabah, Sarawak and Singapore. Though Singapore left in 1965, Malaysia's independence stands as a testament to peaceful negotiation and multi-ethnic cooperation, a legacy of unity that continues to shape its future. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover how the understanding of Malaysia's past, its political history and policies played a pivotal role in shaping the strategies that led to its independence. This is not merely a recounting of events, but a story of how history informed actions and inspired change. The 1915 election holds significant relevance today as it laid the foundation for Malaysia's democratic system, establishing institutions that continue to shape governance. It introduced a successful power-sharing model among UMNO, MCA and MIC, demonstrating the importance of inter-ethnic collaboration for political stability in Malaysia's diverse society. The Alliance Party's success highlighted the value of electoral unity across racial and cultural lines, offering lessons to maintaining national harmony and addressing ethnic tensions. Additionally, it remains a symbol of peaceful negotiation and inclusivity, inspiring modern political coalitions and reforms in a pursuit of multicultural governance.
Next, the other example from policies aspect, which is socio-economic equity and affirmative action. From historical context, economic disparities among ethnic groups created during colonial rule were a major challenge post-independence. The Malay community, concentrated in rural areas, had limited access to economic opportunities compared to urban non-Malay communities. For current impact, the new economic policy NEP introduced in 1971 aimed to address these inequalities by promoting Bumiputera participation in the economy through affirmative action policies. Contemporary policies like the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030 built on these principles to promote equitable development across all communities while addressing criticisms of the NEP's long-term effectiveness.
The last policies, which is before the independence, the British generally avoided interfering with Islamic practice, leaving religious matters to the Malay rulers. This historical religious framework influenced Malaysia's post-independence policies. The policies of Merdeka declared Islam as the official religion of the Federation, which reflected the significance of Islam in Malay culture and society. However, policies on religious freedom and interfaith dialogue are often informed by the need to maintain harmony in Malaysia's plural society, a principle rooted in the independence process. The Constitution allowed for the practice of other religions, providing a balance between preserving Malay Islamic traditions and acknowledging the religious diversity of the population. It is to maintain harmony in Malaysia's plural society.
Moreover, the visionary leadership of Tunku Abdul Rahman. Firstly, inclusive leadership. From historical insight, Tunku Abdul Rahman, the father of independence, united Malaysians of different ethnic, religious and cultural backgrounds by ensuring representation and inclusivity in decision making. Among his leadership strategies are build coalitions, which is form alliances among diverse groups to achieve common goals, emphasizing shared interests over divisions. The second one is foster trust, which is promote policies that represent all communities, ensuring no group feels marginalized. For the example, the multi-ethnic coalition during Merdeka continues to inform Malaysia's political practice of coalition building. Secondly, diplomacy and negotiation. Merdeka was achieved through peaceful negotiations with the British, avoiding violence. Leaders used diplomacy to secure independence while maintaining stability. Among the leadership strategy that was practiced are, the first one is prioritize dialogue, which is resolve disputes through open communication and negotiation. The next one, compromise for unity, which is balance competing interests to achieve sustainable solutions. For the example, Tunku's ability to secure British support for independence without conflict serves as a model for conflict resolution today. The current impact on politics and governance are Malaysia's approach to governance and international relations continues to prioritize diplomacy and peaceful conflict resolution. Malaysia's role in ASEAN reflects its commitment to regional diplomacy, a principle rooted in its historical experience. In this interview, we are joined by Dr. Zahid bin Zamri, an assistant professor at IIM Gombak campus and head of the Center for Islamization. With his extensive academic background in Islamic revealed knowledge and human sciences, Dr. Zahid brings a unique perspective on the intersection of history, politics and governance.
Okay, for me, it is very important history as ibrah, because for example we have Ibn Khaldun who studied history, but he did not say it as sirah. He did not call it as sirah, but he called it as his kitab, his book, magnum opus. He called it as Kitab al-Ibar, okay? Ibrah. So meaning to say, history should be our teacher, so that we will not repeat the same mistakes again. Alright, so therefore it is very important, in order to understand the current political scenario, current political event, we must look at what happened previously in previous civilizations, because more or less they are the same. Maybe the technology is different, but the context more or less we have the same experiences with those people in the past, same problems, so to speak.
Next, to summarize, what is the lessons from the Malaysia independence in shaping current political system?
What is the lesson from Merdeka independence
in
and
shaping current political system?
Maybe the lesson is that the main lesson is that we need to appreciate at least what we have today. But again, we need to be aware all the time that this colonization, if we are not aware, then it will come again. We will have it again. And what's more, maybe yes, we are independent right now, but we have new colonialism. We have, meaning to say, new form of colonization in terms of market economy, in terms of cultural imperialism. All right. So we have to be aware about that, because the previous colonial masters, most of the time, they don't want to leave us to have total independence. They will always want to maintain their dominancy over us, even though they have left. But again, we noticed that what they did, like they tried to do divide and power strategy, right? So all of this actually, if we look deeper, we can say that we are still, for example, when we study international relations, global politics, we are still dominated by those superpowers. So we still dependent on them. So maybe another lesson is that we have to be able to become independent. So we don't have to be dependent on them all the time. So we have to develop our country, try our best to leverage or to develop our own areas, our own advantages that we have here. For example, we have a lot of lands that are not being developed. So why not? Why we are still buying, for example, from other countries, buying goods from them, while we actually can have that goods if we start to develop them. All right. So I think this is a good one of the good example is the concept of Juche in North Korea. Even though yes, we are not 100% agree of how they govern, for example, their country, but the concept of Juche is about to be independent, right? So that we will not become all the time we have to follow whatever rules given by the superpowers, because we are dependent on them in our development, in our especially in our development. Because if we do not follow whatever that they tell us, then we will not be able to develop. Okay, so that's it.
After gaining freedom, the government focused on improving the lives of its people, especially in rural areas. One important step was the creation of Felda in 1956 by Tun Abdul Razak Husin. Felda was initiated by Tun Abdul Razak Husin, Malaysia's second Prime Minister, with a clear objective, which is to reduce rural poverty. Before independence, many rural Malaysians were poor and depended on small-scale farming to survive. Felda helped change this by giving land to rural families and teaching them on how to grow crops like rubber and palm oil. This gave them steady incomes and helped them escape poverty. Felda also helped Malaysia boost its economy by planting large areas of palm oil and rubber. Felda turned Malaysia into one of the top exporters of these products. This made the country stronger and less dependent on other industries like tin mining. Felda did not just focus on farming, it also improved rural infrastructure. People in Felda settlement got better houses, roads, schools and healthcare. This made life easier and brought development to areas that were previously neglected. Felda has played a big role in Malaysia's development thanks to its important policies. Let me explain some of them. Felda's main goal is to open and develop land for agricultural and settlement areas. It focuses on planting crops like rubber and oil palm, which are key to Malaysia's economy. This plantation provides settlers with a stable income and help grow the nation's wealth. Felda raised the standard of living of the Malays by creating job opportunities, especially in agriculture, allowing settlers to earn a living. Additionally, it encourages entrepreneurship by providing loans to those who want to start their own businesses. Felda also carry out social activities like gotong royong, where people work together to clean and improve their areas. It also organizes religious programs for events like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, bringing people together to celebrate. Felda also creates facilities to provide optimal returns to settlers, such as modern homes, to ensure they live comfortably. These houses, along with other facilities, create a better environment for families and help settlers achieve long-term success. Felda was not only designed to help settlers but also to strengthen Malaysia's economy. Its initiatives had a significant impact on the country's economic growth in several ways. First, Felda created jobs for Malays. One of Felda's key goals was to increase employment opportunities, particularly for rural Malays. By involving them in large-scale agricultural activities, Felda turned unemployment into productive labor, boosting the workforce and stimulating the rural economy. Second, Felda managed to increase exports in Malaysia. Felda's focus on crops like palm oil and rubber had a major impact on Malaysia's export economy. These commodities become essential drivers of foreign exchange, making Malaysia one of the top exporters globally. This export success strengthened the national economy and reduced reliance on other industries. Third, Felda turned empty land to something valuable. Before Felda, much of Malaysia's land was idle or underutilized. Felda transformed these areas into productive farms, maximizing land values and increasing agricultural output. This efficient use of resources contributed to economic sustainability. Lastly, Felda managed to strengthen Malaysia's economy by helping Malaysia move towards economic independence. The growth in export and efficient lands used to provide the country with a stronger economic foundation, reducing reliance on foreign resources and creating a self-sustaining economy.
Next is the societal reasons. Felda's initiative extended beyond economics and touched on societal development. The settlers benefited from improved living standards, including better housing, healthcare, and education opportunities. Scholarships and loans provided settlers' children with a pathway to higher education, contributing to upward social mobility. This history shows how inclusive policies can transform societies, fostering equality and opportunity. For today's governance, Felda serves as a reminder that addressing societal needs, such as education and healthcare, can empower communities and create a more equitable society. By studying this, leaders can learn how to implement policies that prioritize both individual well-being and societal progress. Political reasons. Politically, Felda played a significant role in shaping Malaysia's electoral landscapes. Its settlements were often located in parliamentary constituencies, giving the ruling party UMNO a strong support base. This political strategy demonstrates how governments can use development programs to gain voter trust and loyalty. However, Felda's history also highlights governance challenges, such as corruption and mismanagement, which undermined public trust. By examining these historical successes and failures, modern political leaders can learn the importance of transparency, accountability, and ethical governance in maintaining long-term political stability and public support. Lastly, leadership strategies. Leadership was a critical factor in Felda's success. Tun Abdul Razak played a key role in shaping Felda. His vision for Felda emphasized self-reliance, economic opportunity, and social equity. By addressing rural underdevelopment, his leadership not only improved the lives of settlers, but also strengthened the support of rural voters, ensuring political stability. This example demonstrates how visionary leadership, grounded in historical context, can transform societies. By studying the leadership strategies behind Felda, we can understand how leaders today can use historical knowledge to craft effective strategies that address contemporary challenges and unite diverse communities.
This is how we learn about Malaysia political system and governance in the sense that this is how government work for development, in area which are yet unexplored, an area which yet unexplored for the sake of eradicating poverty among the Malays, and that is how speaking about this system, that is how Felda need to be created through passing a specific ordinance, right? It can only be established through a specific statute or ordinance, which I mentioned just now is 1956 Land Development Ordinance, right? So that will give powers to the government to create Felda, and the same thing goes to the other land development authorities like FECRA, Ketengah, Kejora, and we have also one in western or southeastern Pahang, Dara, right? Dara. So these are among the land development authorities, and of course, normally Felda was put under Ministry of Rural Development, right? Ministry of Rural Development, and in 1956, this Ministry of Rural Development was under former Prime Minister Tun Abdul Razak, right? Tun Abdul Razak was at that time in 1956 was also Deputy Prime Minister to Tengku Abdul Rahman, and he was also Minister of Rural Development, right? Rural Development, and I believe that Tun Abdul Razak and Tengku Abdul Rahman and his administration were aware of the fact that Malay had been left behind
and therefore they need to create a special platform, if I may say so, a special platform where the Malays could be ventured into, or could be, I mean, the living condition of Malay could be elevated into better living conditions, right? Through many ways, and that one of the most important measures undertaken by the government was by creating FELDA in 1956. Right. So through revisiting the history of FELDA, that will give us some sort of like a glimpse over how FELDA came into existence, because FELDA was part of was considered to be a government entity, and it was put under the Ministry of Rural Development. Even until today, it was placed under Ministry of the ministry was rebranded today. It was not something else. It's like Ministry of Rural, something about desa and others, right? So that is how FELDA came into existence, and it was personally supervised by the Ministry of Rural Development, right? That is my take on that. This is how we learn about Malaysia political system and governance, in the sense that this is how government work for development in area which are yet unexplored, an area which yet unexplored, for the sake of eradicating poverty among the Malays, and that is how, speaking about this system, that is how FELDA need to be created through passing a specific ordinance, right? It can only be established through a specific statute or ordinance, which I mentioned just now is 1956 Land Development Ordinance, right? So that will give powers to the government to create FELDA, and the same thing goes to the other land development authorities like FECRA, Ketengah, Kejora, and we have also one in southeastern Pahang, Dara, right? Dara. So these are among the land development authorities, and of course, normally FELDA was put under Ministry of Rural Development, right? Ministry of Rural Development, and in 1956, this Ministry of Rural Development was under former Prime Minister. I really thought that these early founders of FELDA, like Tun Abdul Razak, was showing us a very unique personality, where the public interests were basically putting above all other personal interests and considerations. And they were very committed, right? They were very committed, all these early founders of FELDA, because imagine that you're supposed to resettle people like Malays from their own place into new settlement areas. I mean, that was not easy, right? That was not easy. You have to convince the people, and you have to convince the people that we're going to help you through placing you into a new settlement, and we will help you to plant this cash crop production plantations like rubber and palm oil, right? People might be definitely reluctant. Imagine that you are basically, quote unquote, being forced to remove from one area to another. You need to have a valid reason as to why I must migrate, right? Why I must migrate and follow you to the other areas. So that requires a lot of hard work. And I believe all these early founders of FELDA might be working day and night, without having working hours at a certain period of time, where you have to clock in at 9 and you have to then clock up at 5 or 6. All right. So I believe this politician, they do not have working hours. It's like day and night working. So that is, I think, is a way how we can better serve, especially among the politicians, to better serve their constituents. Right, better serve their constituents. Okay, I think that is my take on how a modern politician can be not really effective, but more responsible, right? More responsible and more mindful of their constituents' problems. Only then I think they can be effective politicians, right? Effective politicians in that sense.
To conclude, the study of history plays a crucial role in enhancing our understanding of politics and governance by providing context and insights into the origins of current political systems, policies, and leadership strategies. Key historical events such as Malaysia's independence highlights the importance of unity, negotiation, and diplomacy in achieving independence, which remains central to Malaysia's political framework today. And the establishment of FELDA served as an example of policy-driven efforts to uplift marginalized communities, shaping the country's approach to rural development and social equity. By studying these historical milestones, policymakers and leaders can make more informed decisions, avoid past mistakes, and create policies that resonate with the nation's values and aspirations. History, therefore, is not just about understanding the past, but also about using that knowledge to guide the future.